The West Coast Fever won as well. That was Caitlin Bassett with 51 goals, and the Vixens won too.
OK, Paul, we've got to leave it there. Thanks for that. Let's go to New South Wales now. The New South Wales Premier Mike Baird is campaigning in Parramatta this morning, the election coming up in a couple of weeks.
We think it matters, and that's why we continue to provide improved services, more services for the people of Sydney and across this state. Today we are announcing 8,000 extra seats that will come on between Parramatta and the city on a weekly basis from when we are elected. If we're given that opportunity, that's what we'll continue to do, and that is to improve services as we have done since we came to government. Indeed, over 10,000 extra public transport services on a weekly basis. That's what government should be doing, improving services, providing more services, and that's what we're doing with these new express trains that come on board. We know the difference that makes to a daily commute and, importantly, a daily life. The capacity to get to work quicker provides the opportunity to spend more time at home, at the same time takes away the stress of life that everyone feels. Sydney does have congestion. It does need improvement in public transport services. We have started that process, and we want to do more if we're given the opportunity in March. We're also announcing a $100 million package for the Parramatta River, understanding that many people are continuing to use the Parramatta River with that ferry service, and we're announcing new vessels, new wharves, upgrades and car parking that will ensure that remains a vital part of our transport offering along the Parramatta River, in showing that the ferry service goes west of the Harbour Bridge and has a greater capacity to do more if we are provided an opportunity beyond March. In simple terms, we continue to deliver more public transport services. We know the difference that makes. And today's announcement will make a big difference. 8,000 extra seats on our trains, and at the same time $100 million towards improving Parramatta River with new vessels, new services and upgraded wharves. That is what a responsible government should be doing, and is what we are doing. And we want to do more. If we are given the capacity to win in March, well, our rebuilding package provides that second harbour rail crossing, and to give you a context of what that'll do to the rail network, well, that's 100,000 commuters an hour that we're able to take and support on the rail network that otherwise we won't be. Only we have the plan to fund that. We have done the work, we have the funding secured as part of our rebuild program, and that'll make a huge difference to people across Sydney. So a great announcement here in Parramatta today, and I'll ask the Transport Minister to make a few words.
Thank you, Premier. Since day one when we came to government, we promised more services, we promised more reliable services and frequent services, and that's exactly what we're delivering. Today's announcement is all about accepting that Western Sydney is growing, the number of our commuters are growing, and it's important for us to do everything we can to squeeze through those extra train services, but also buy new ferries, upgrade our wharves and allow people to commute on the Parramatta River. This is a very important announcement because it builds on what we've done in the last 4 years. We understand what it's like trying to get to work, trying to move around the city, trying to move around Western Sydney, and that's why it's so important for us to keep working hard week in, week out to deliver those extra services, those extra seats, but also to say to the community throughout Sydney and New South Wales, when it comes to public transport, we're delivering, we'll continue to deliver, and we understand that people want to spend less time getting to and from places, more time with their families, more time doing what they want to do, and when they are catching public transport, they actually want it to be a pleasant experience. And so we've worked hard not just on improving services, increasing services, but also in making the experience a much more pleasant one.
When will these trains start?
Yeah, well, we will deliver these extra services in the next term of government if elected. We do have to do some upgrades to the line and power supply upgrades, and that's why we've made this commitment. The most difficult challenge for us is getting those extra trains to the city in the morning peak, and that's why we're working hard to make sure we deliver this commitment, and it will follow a number of upgrades we need to make to the Western Line.
So you'll have a new train timetable in 2016. Will these trains be part of that timetable?
Well, we will work as hard as we can. We anticipate it will take a couple of years for us to deliver these extra paths because it demonstrates how much work you need to do, how much focus and discipline you have to have to get more services in that morning peak. And of course, the real game changer will be that second Harbour Rail crossing. So we'll be able to deliver these extra seats, these extra services in the next term of government within a couple of years. But obviously, the real game changer for us, for Western Sydney, will be that second Harbour Rail crossing.
What about the return journey? Don't these people need to get home?
Well, for us, the biggest challenge is the morning peak. And of course, we're focusing on services throughout the day and on weekends. But when people are going home, it's more staggered. There are more opportunities to catch different services, and it's easy for us to manage. The biggest challenge for us is getting people to the CBD from Western Sydney, from Parramatta, in that morning peak when the highest demand is there. That morning peak is the biggest challenge for us in the transport network, and that's why these services will be very welcome for the people of Western Sydney.
So what's the cost of the initiatives to get these 2 extra morning train services?
We anticipate it will cost around $70 million for these extra services, and that goes alongside some upgrades we need to do to power supply and some turnout work we need to do at Parramatta. So we've planned hard, we've worked hard, we know we can deliver these, but obviously it does take work, and we're doing everything we can to squeeze what we can out of the current work. But the real game changer for us, for public transport, will be that second Harbour Rail crossing.
Can we just, so is it, you said a couple of years, but roughly is it going to be 2018, do you think, or 2019?
I anticipate it'll be around 2017, 2018 when these new services will come on board, but obviously if we can deliver them sooner, we will. But it does depend on making those power supply upgrades and also getting those infrastructure upgrades. But this is an example of how hard, focused and disciplined we've been in public transport. Getting those extra paths takes a lot of work. Getting extra services, improving the experience takes a lot of work. We've done it for 4 years. We'll keep doing it if we're re-elected, because we know public transport matters to families, it matters to individuals, and it matters to people who want to keep Sydney moving.
Will trains run to Town Hall and Wynyard, or will they just go to Central?
Well, these will go to Central.
Right, so why would they go into the city?
Well, we've said the 26-minute express goes from Parramatta to Central, and then some people get off at Central, some people continue their journey elsewhere. We're making that commitment, and obviously we're looking forward to providing those 8,000 extra seats every week for people travelling from Parramatta to the CBD.
4 new vessels and ferries. Are these in addition, or will they be replacing some of the current fleet?
Yeah, we've already announced 6 vessels for the harbour services. These additional 4, at least 3 of them will be what's called growth vessels. So we'll be able to produce at least 80 extra weekly ferry services because of the extra 4 we're doing up and down the river. And we know the demand is there not just during the week but also on weekends. So we're a government that's about providing those extra vessels, providing improved upgrades to the wharves. We're building a brand new wharf at Rhodes, and if you look at Rhodes and see how much growth there's been there, you can appreciate why we're doing that. So this is about not only Western Sydney train services but also ferry services. It's about an integrated network where people can use every mode of transport and not have to worry about connections, not have to worry about frequency, and it's about growing on the work we've done but acknowledging there's still a lot more to do.
How quick will it make the trip by ferry?
I'm sorry?
How quick will the trip be with these?
Oh, the travel times will be roughly what they are now, but the difference is we'll be able to carry more people and there'll be less overcrowding, especially on weekends when we know services are increasing. We also know people are taking opportunity of the free weekend travel, and we know there's a huge demand placed on our ferries. And in addition to Western Sydney customers going throughout the network, we know a lot of tourists will want to come and visit Western Sydney. So this is about not only making life easier for Western Sydney commuters, but making Western Sydney an attractive place to visit on the weekends.
Okay, so that was live from Sydney. We'll leave that there. The New South Wales Transport Minister Gladys Berijiklian, along with the Premier Mike Baird, with some public transport announcements. That's part of the New South